Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel. This is Synthetic Goddess. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to get more information on this channel. On this channel, I teach different strategies to make you profitable in the financial markets. So in this video, I'm going to make it very short. I want to show you how to do a top-down analysis using the strategies I've been teaching you guys. So just a way for you to do your top-down analysis. And also you have to keep learning about your entry and then your exits so that you will be able to perfect this. Okay, so I will show you how to do your top-down analysis right now. I am currently on this trade, and that is why you're seeing the analysis. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my top-down analysis, how I make my top-down analysis. So let's get straight into the video. So let's delete this. Let's delete all of this first. Okay, so when we talk about top-down analysis, it simply means how you want to do your analysis from the higher time frame down to the lowest time frame where you want to take your entry, from the higher time frame down to the lowest part where you want to take your entry. I've made videos about how to use your time frame, if you're an intraday trader or you are a swing trader, so you can check my channel for that. So let's get into 24 hours time frame. This is actually trading view, and the maximum I can go is the 24 hours time frame. So I'm going to start from the 24 hours time frame, and then I'm going to do my analysis from the 24 hours time frame. So the first thing you would want to do is to mark out your structure. I have always been talking about structure. Mark out your structure clearly and be able to recognize the range you are currently in. If you want to do a top-down analysis, you have to know the range you are trading in right from the higher time frame, right from your 24 hours time frame where you're marking your structure. You have to be able to define the range you are currently, and that is going to help you to know what side of the market are you. Are you a buyer, or are you going to be a seller at that particular moment or for that particular week? So this is 24 hours time frame. I'm going to be marking the structure. So I have actually marked this as a break of structure to the upside. So this is our break of structure to the upside. So we have another break of structure here. So let's do that. This is another break of structure to the upside. Remember, this is 24 hours time frame. So we had a break of structure to the upside here. On my community, I explained why I am looking for a sell on this particular market. I think that was some weeks ago. And then I explained why I was looking for a sell market here. So let's just get into it directly. So we had our break of structure to the upside there. Now, you shouldn't be bothering yourself about a lot of things. So let's just check what the market has done before, just for us to check where we are currently in the market so that we won't be caught up in between the markets. So you don't really need all that information if you are an intraday trader, because what you have to do with is just you entering the market a day, 2 days, and that's it. But if you are a swing trader, you have a lot of things to do with this information. So we just had a break of, so let's just go through it. We had a break of structure to the downside here. We had another break of structure. This was the last break of structure to the downside. The market came and took out this particular high, confirming that we have a change of character. This is actually a change of character for us when we had the break of this high. So after we had the break of this high, you can see how market got into a particular area and then it's reversed. So the next thing you would want to do is, where do we have our first break of structure around there? This is our first break of structure here. This is our first break of structure. I don't want to mark it out so that it doesn't take so much of our time. So you have to know the delivery of the market. So we had our last break, we had our first break of structure for the downside here. Then the next thing you would want to do is, where do we have our break of structure here? Remember, we had a change of character to the upside here. So we had a change of character here, which is our first BMS at this area. This is our first BMS at this area. So the next thing you would want to check is, where would market react? So we should have what dragged markets back to that area, maybe like liquidity void or an untested sponsored candle. So over here we had our fair value gap. This is our fair value gap here. So let's just put it there. This is our fair value gap that has the potential of dragging price back into this zone. Remember, we had our first break of structure to the downside already again. So even if you're looking for a buy, it should enter into this zone. So that's your fair value gap, and this is your SC candle around this area. This is your sponsored candle around this area. So all of these are just area of interest. So the next thing you would want to do is, let's check the other structure. Like I was saying, let's check our structure. Okay, so you can see market didn't even get a fair value gap. It just used a PO high around here for a continuation of the movement. As much as you are marking this area out, right, you should be marking out the right hand side also. So we've marked out this as first break of structure. Right. Sorry about that. So we've marked out this as our first break of structure to the upside, and then we are expecting the market to come back into this zone, right? So we've marked this. So the next thing you would want to mark is the sell area. Remember, we work based on probability, and you would never know what the market is doing at a particular point unless it displays it for you. So I'm going to be marking out my structure also at this area. So this is a break of structure to the downside here. This is our first break of structure to the downside here, and as you can see, market has not really entered into the internal structure basically on this time frame. This is 24 hours time frame. We've not really entered into the internal structure. So as much as you are marking the sell, you are marking the buy area, you should be marking the sell area also. So you never know the one the market would want to do, right? So this is our sell area. We've marked out the buy area. We've marked out the buy point. This is our sell point, and this is our untested area. This is the untested area that we had here. We have a fair value gap that has the potential of dragging the price back into this zone. So this is our fair value gap around here. So we're going to mark that out also. That's our liquidity void. This is the void here. We have void here. You can see those candles. So we have that around that area. So you've marked out the buy area. You should also mark out the sell area. This is what a lot of people don't really talk about, or they don't really know, right? So as much as you are marking to the buy side, you are expecting the buy side, you should be expecting the sell side also, so that anyone that displays according to your model, you will be able to take advantage of it. You will not be bent on the market selling or bent on the market buying, right? You are not always right until the market proves you right. So we had that sell area also. Market has not gotten into that sell area. So this is what the market is doing at this zone on this area, right? So the next thing we have is a break of structure to the upside, which is the internal structure. This is our internal structure. We had a break of structure to the upside. This is another break of structure to the upside again. So it's clearly showed that we are in an uptrend at this internal zone, probably to enter into that zone we've marked out on the 24 hours time frame, which is here. And then that area we're expecting the market to drag price into based on the fair value gap, the liquidity void, and the untested sponsored candle that we had there. Okay, so but we've not gotten into heat before market gave us this change of character. So we had this change of character in the market. I marked it out with this. We had this change of character in the market to the downside. You can see our change of character here. Remember, our last break of structure was to the upside here, and we are not expecting market to violate the lows. Okay, we are not expecting market to violate lows in an uptrend, so market had to violate this low. Okay, so I am just showing you guys how to mark out structure. I really did not want this to be long, but I had to be detailed about this so that you can know how to mark it out. Okay, so this is our change of character. In as much as this is a change of character, it could also serve as inducement. But remember, we don't have an inducement unless there is a validation. This could actually serve as inducement because this area is also untested. This sponsored candle is untested with this low. This low did not test this sponsored candle, so we could also see it as our inducement, but you can never tell what an inducement is until there is a validation that this is truly an inducement. So I'm going to just be marking it a change of character. So let me just tag it a change of character so that you don't get everything mixed up. So that you don't get everything mixed up, I'm just going to tag that a change of character. So we have a change of character here. So in as much as that's a change of character, it could serve as an inducement. Yeah. So you have to put your mind on the fact that you are working based on probability. So when market starts reacting at this sponsored candle, at this area of sponsored candle that we marked out here, at this area, this untested sponsored candle, you would not be having it that, oh, we already have a break of structure here, or we already have a change of character here to the downside, so I should be bent on selling. No, you have two things you want to do right now. So the first thing is you are looking out for the reaction that will happen at this sponsored candle, and then you are looking out for what will happen after this change of character has been formed. Now, to me, when this change of character formed, because remember, I trade liquidity, I trade inducement. So when this change of character formed, I was looking out that the market come into this sponsored candle and give me a very good reaction. But in as much as I was looking at that, when we had this change of character, okay, after we had this change of character, I noticed that the market has not done a deep retracement into this area yet. So let me show you guys. I noticed that in as much as I would want to look for a buy at this sponsored candle, the market has not really done a deep retracement into this area. You can see how we had that impulse movement. We had that very impulse movement. Our market has not done any deep retracement. So my thought was that, okay, even if the market is going to buy, we should have a little deep retracement back into this place. I was expecting a little deep retracement into the internal zone. So this is exactly how I do my analysis. I am just being explicit to you guys. I want to show you guys how to just mark it out on the 24 hours time frame. It's not enough for you to just mark out, oh, this is break of structure to the downside, this is break of structure to the upside. You should know why you are marking it out. So, and that is why I am explaining this. So I noticed that we've not really had a good retracement back into this area. So this is a change of character. This is my sponsored candle that I am looking out for. So let's start this sponsored candle looking at lookouts. Okay, SC, let's just put SC look into this area. So that's my SC candle that's my SC candle I am looking out for, right? So the next thing I want to do is I want to check what reaction the market is giving right now. What reaction is the market giving? So you can see that I said it earlier that we've not had a deep retracement back into this area. So let's mark out 50% of this range. From this is a range, right? From this high to this low is a range on its own. So let's mark out the 50% range. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to pick out my fib retracement, and I'm going to be using that for this. So I would want to mark out my 50%. So where is my 50%? I'm going to just put this there. So this is my 50% area. That's my 50% area. So let's get into it, what the market is doing next, or what the market is ready to do. So I'm going to delete this fib. So I've marked out my 50%. Remember, we are expecting that the market do a little deep retracement back into it. Now, when the market got into this area, I was not so sure of the sell. Okay, I was not so sure of the sell at this area. We only had fair value gap around this area, but I was not really seeing a candle that the market could just hold on to for the continuation of the sell, except this breaker over here, And most times I am always skeptical to using the breaker. Okay, to using the breaker level. I am kind of skeptical to using breaker level. So I often wait a little bit for the market to display whatever it wants to display. And sometimes if I get the wrong entry, or maybe I entered at the wrong leg, I just hold on and wait for the market to do a delivery, right? It's not bad for you entering at the wrong leg. So this is a breaker level. That is where our 50% is, and that is where you want to expect that your deep retracement we get into. So when I was seeing this, I took advantage of this buy at a time. So we had a break of structure to the upside. This is a break of structure to the upside. Let's call it a change of character, a minor change of character in between there. So we had this minor change of character, right? That's a minor change of character. And then I was expecting the market to obviously get back into the sponsored candle. Most often I trade the sponsored candle, and sometimes the market just leaves me to run. And that is why I often don't like trading the breaker. I get so used to sponsored candle a lot because I've seen the market display sponsored candle over and over again. So this was another break of structure to the upside. We had another break of structure to the upside here. You can see how the market is just breaking structure to the upside just to give us that retracement. So the next thing you would want to do is to just go to a little lower time frame, and then you're going to determine what you want to do. So remember, we are doing a top-down analysis. What is the 4 hours time frame saying? So remember, this is 24 hours time frame. You want to go to a bit lower than this 24 hours time frame to check what the market is also doing, till when you get to a place where you would get your entry. So sometimes I use the 8 hours, but sometimes I use the 4 hours also. So let's just go for the 4 hours time frame, and let's see what the market is doing on the 4 hours time frame, and how you can just make use of that information on the 4 hours time frame. So we had our break of structure to the upside here. Remember, we had change of character, break of structure to the upside, another break of structure to the upside. So this was another break of structure to the upside. So if you're going to continue this deep retracement, because this is a minor structure, and then the market is very, very repetitive. Okay, so we had that break of structure to the upside. I wasn't really expecting the market to come back and break this particular low. It was this low I was not expecting the market to come back to break, but we are going to mark out this low because this is our lower high. So this was the market, this was the area I was not really expecting the market to come back to come and break if we are going to continue that minor structure to the upside. But market came back to that area and then it broke it. So after the market has broken it, meanwhile, if you had want to enter for a sell around this area, around this area, we had this break of structure because we had a very minor change of character here. We had break of structure, the market created liquidity for itself, and then it came into breaker level. The market came back into breaker level also here. So the market has just been using breaker level anyway. So market came back to the breaker level and then it just got a fair value gap to just rest on, and then it continued the movement. So if you wanted to enter the market at this area, you would have gotten your confirmation on the lower time frame, and then you would have just tried the sell till we took out this particular low. So after we took out this low, the next thing you would want to ask yourself is, where is the market going to get to? Or where should I be expecting the market? Basically, where I was expecting the market, I picked it from the 8 hours time frame. So let's check the 8 hours time frame. Yes, I did pick it on the 8 hours time frame, and that is why you have to use different time frames to your own advantage. Now, when I saw all these weeks, I was like, oh, this is the liquidity market has created for itself, right? So when I saw all this week, I'm like, okay, I can't really count this as a break of structure. And after we've broken this low to the downside, you expect the market to do a little deep retracement. You can't just wait. You can't just expect the market to continue the move and sell and sell and sell. No. So I picked it from this 8 hours time frame. So this was what I saw. This is a high. We had a high here, we had a low which gave us a break of structure, we had another high here which gave us a very good retracement. So we had break of structure. Now after the market had broken structure to the downside, this was the wick the market created after this break of structure to the downside, and the wick did not get into our zone. Let me just zoom in and show you that wick. That particular week did not give a good retracement. If you want to check it, you can check it on the 2 hours time frame. So I just marked this out as, okay, I should be expecting market to first take this high. This is the high I was expecting the market to take. I had been saying it for over a time. So this is a high I was expecting the market to take. So when we had this impulse, I was like, okay, the market should take this high. And that is how you should do your own analysis from this 8 hours time frame also. So the next thing I did was that I marked out this candle. I marked out this candle and I marked it out as a way that we've not tested it. So I marked out this and I'm like, okay, we've not tested this area. So I was expecting it at that area, but the market did not get into that area. Remember, over time, what we've been saying, the market has been using breakers. So the market just used a breaker here and it spiked down. So I was expecting it around this area, but since it did not get there, I would move on. And that is what you should do also. So I went to the 2 hours time frame. After our 4 hours, I went to the 2 hours time frame to just see what the market is displaying on the 2 hours time frame. So we had this area, and then when market started moving to the downside, the next thing you would want to do is, what is the reaction the market is giving right now? What reaction is the market giving? What is this telling me? Because some people would mark out this as break of structure to the upside, and that is exactly what the market wants you to see. They want you to see this as a break of structure to the upside. But if you're somebody that does a deep and thorough top-down analysis, you will know that this is actually not a break of structure. It is only people that are limited to the lower time frame that will see this as a break of structure. So Remember, this is where the market is reacting to. So for everywhere you want to enter the market, check out for where the market is currently reacting to. So we've taken out that week that we created on the 8 hours time frame, and then we are reacting at this particular candle, which is a breaker block at this area. It is just a correction with the breaker block around this area. So we had this movement, like this deep movement to the downside. So the next thing you would want to do is probably go to your 15-minute time frame, where you are going to refine your entry, right? Where you're going to refine your entry. You might make a mistake in your entry. It is totally fine, okay? It is totally fine. You don't have to beat yourself so much when you miss a particular area for you to enter the market or for you to refine the market. It's totally fine to make mistakes, right? So you just have to caution yourself and not feel so bad about it. You just learn from your mistake. That's the reason mistake exists. So you wouldn't have gotten to where you are right now if you do not make any mistake, right? So all this impulse to the downside, perhaps I would have tried to see the area I could enter the market. So all of this impulse to the downside, when you start seeing the impulse, the next thing is, where should you enter the market? Remember, this is 15 minutes time frame, right? This is 15 minutes time frame. So where should you enter the market? So this is an impulse to the downside. We had this small movement to the upside, which did not enter into the internal structure. It did not enter deeply into the internal structure. So I would have been expecting market to take this particular high around this area if we did not have this spike down. So after that, market gave us this spike down to the downside, and then it started creating a reaction at a place after we've taken our secondary inducement. I've made explanation, I've made a video about secondary inducement and primary inducement. So after we took out our secondary inducement, you can see the market started reacting, the market started moving to the upside just to give us a retracement. This is where we started moving from. And that was after market had taken the secondary inducement. So the first thing I did was that I marked this as a place we had a structure to the downside. Remember, I said you have to know the range you are trading in between. Now, when I saw this, I marked this as a break of structure to the downside. I made a mistake at first, right? I made a first mistake, and I marked out this area as my point of interest. I marked this area as my point of interest. Now you can see that the market actually reacted to it. But immediately I saw this impulse to the upside, I got to realize my mistake. Right? I got to realize my mistake immediately. I saw that impulse to the upside. So what was the mistake? We did not really have any characteristics of major high for this area. So I shouldn't be expecting market for this high to hold a sell down to break this low. I shouldn't be expecting so much of the market to use this PO high as a sell to break this low, because it doesn't have the characteristics of a major high. I've explained characteristics of major high on my YouTube channel. You can go check it out, look for it on the channel and get it. So this did not have a characteristics of major high. Then I realized I had made a mistake. I had not entered the market, because when I saw the impulse, I was like, oh, why is the market moving impulsively into that PO high? Then there must be something that is wrong. So I just checked back and I'm like, oh, really, this particular market does not have a major liquidity characteristics. So what I did next was that I marked this high as my liquidity. So I eventually marked this high as the liquidity I was expecting the market to come and take, just like an inducement. So I just marked it out as a way I was expecting the market to come and take it out as a liquidity. So even if we're going to be breaking this low, the market has to take out that high as inducement. So I marked out this area. this area also does not have characteristics of major high, but my thought was if we had this inducement broken, we should use that area for a continuation. So you can see that the market spiked a little bit above it. Now, I noticed that the market might spike a little bit above this, so I placed my limit at this area. If you check 1 minute, I don't really think okay. So when I refined it, let me just refine it since we are doing a top-down analysis. So I went to the 5 minutes time frame. That's the next thing you would want to do. Just follow all this procedure step by step in analyzing any market you want to analyze, and you're good to go. So going to the 5 minute time frame, if you check it, sponsor candle here has not really been tested. So that was where I placed my limits. And guys, so I just placed my limits at the sponsored candle, the open of the sponsored candle, and I placed the stop loss above this area. So I marked out 2 PO high, I marked out this area, and I marked out this area also because we might be getting into this area as well. So I marked it up with this because that has the characteristics of a major high. So I just marked this out as the second area where the market would get into. So this market, the limit was activated in the middle of the night, and then that was it. So the best thing you want to do is just follow the delivery of the market, know the range you are trading in, know what your liquidity is, know what the current structure is, and know the range you are currently trading from. And you should be able to decide the PO high you would use in case of anything. Determine the PO high you would use. Now, another thing you should take note of is what if the market goes wrong? So what could go wrong in this particular area? Remember, I told you that we're having a reaction at that secondary point of interest. So the market could probably change its mind and then say, I want to buy, right? I just want to continue in the buy. But basically, I'm not going to be looking for a buy yet on this market until we break this high. So if it comes to break this high, then I'm going to take this low as a strong low for me, for the market not to break. So I'll just get a continuation market or a continuation trade for me to enter into the market. So the best thing for you is just mark out your structure, mark out the liquidity you are anticipating for the market to get into, mark out the range you are trading in. So if you can use this template, I think you should level up your game in trading. You should be able to level up your game in trading, and you will have a balanced psychology. If you know the templates that you are following for you to use in the market, then you would not have issues with your psychology again. And just learn, keep learning. You will definitely get into it one day. Keep living in the atmosphere of profits, guys. Bye.